Genesis just completely abandoned its biggest promise, and what they are replacing it with is making Lexus and Mercedes extremely nervous. You see, Genesis told the entire world they were going completely electric. They made a massive bet on a future without gasoline. But something just shifted, and shifted hard. The luxury brand is officially delaying its EV-only future. Next month, they are dropping the GV80 HEV, their first ever hybrid vehicle. And this is not just another compliance car to keep regulators happy. This is a highly calculated weapon designed specifically for the current US auto market. In this video, I am going to break down the highly guarded specs of this new 2.5-liter turbo hybrid system. We will look at why Genesis engineered a liquid-cooled battery when others lazily settle for air cooling. And more importantly, I will show you why this exact vehicle proves that the traditional luxury EV market is currently in a state of sheer panic. If you are thinking about buying a luxury SUV this year, you absolutely need to hear this. Let us talk about the pivot, because the strategy here is genuinely fascinating. Just a short time ago, Genesis confidently stated they would only sell electric vehicles starting last year. It was a bold, incredibly aggressive stance. The industry applauded them for it. But the US EV market is completely ruthless right now. Wealthy buyers are exhausted by the current landscape. They are tired of range anxiety, frustrated by broken public chargers, and completely terrified by the massive depreciation hits that luxury electric vehicles are taking on the used market. So Genesis made a very smart, very quiet adjustment. They delayed the EV-only timeline and announced they are rolling out hybrids and extended range models instead. And the absolute tip of that spear is the new GV80 hybrid launching next month. Why is this specific launch so significant? Because the GV80 is their cash cow. It is the undisputed flagship. Putting their very first hybrid powertrain into their most important SUV shows, they are playing for keeps. They are openly admitting that the luxury consumer still wants gasoline, but they want it meticulously wrapped in the smoothness of an electric vehicle. They want the torque and the silence, without the panic of searching for a charging station in the freezing rain. And that is exactly what the engineers in South Korea set out to build. So what actually powers this massive machine? Genesis did not just borrow a dusty, outdated hybrid setup from their parent company. They built a brand new, next-generation parallel hybrid system. It seamlessly combines a 2.5-liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine with not one, but two distinct electric motors. You get a specialized starter-generator motor that flawlessly handles firing up the engine and generating power. Then, you have a dedicated, incredibly beefy drive motor, strictly responsible for forward propulsion and massive regenerative braking. The raw performance numbers are frankly fantastic. Combined, this entire system violently cranks out 357 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. To put that specific output in perspective, that is a 16% jump in pure power and a massive 26% increase in rotational torque compared to the standard 2.5-liter gas engine. You get all the daily fuel savings of a hybrid, but you actually get significantly more muscle off the line. It aggressively launches from 0 to 62 miles per hour in roughly 7.1 seconds. It is not a dedicated track weapon, but for a heavy, deeply opulent family hauler, it is perfectly punchy. You will never struggle to merge onto a chaotic highway or pass a slow-moving semi-truck going uphill. But here is where things get genuinely nerdy and incredibly exciting for automotive enthusiasts. Most standard hybrids on the road right now use archaic air-cooled batteries. They simply blow cabin air over the hot lithium cells to keep them from melting down. It is cheap to manufacture, and it is easy to package. But it is fundamentally flawed when you demand high performance from a heavy luxury vehicle. When those battery cells get too hot, the onboard computer panics and severely pulls back the power to save the pack from catastrophic failure. Genesis looked at that accepted industry standard and completely rejected it. The GV80 HEV is the very first Hyundai Motor Group hybrid system to ever use a highly advanced liquid-cooled battery. Why does expensive water cooling matter to you on a daily basis? It is all about mastering thermal management. Liquid cooling actively pumps coolant through the pack, controlling the internal battery temperature much more efficiently and precisely. That flawless temperature control allows the battery to safely deliver a dramatically higher maximum discharge output without degrading the internal cells. In plain English, the electric motor can push significantly harder for much longer periods of time without the computer severely throttling your power. It means you get consistent, extremely reliable performance whether you are climbing a steep, winding mountain pass in the dead of summer or sitting endlessly in 90-degree gridlock traffic. The sophisticated system just works. It does not overheat, and it does not pull your power away when you need it most. It is a massive engineering flex that puts every other luxury brand on immediate notice. Genesis knows exactly who their buyers are. They know you absolutely do not want a clumsy hybrid that shudders and groans violently every time the gas engine is forced to kick on. So they aggressively tuned this specific setup to flawlessly mimic an electric vehicle. They created a highly sophisticated, dedicated EV mode that aggressively stays active until the vehicle hits about 19 miles per hour. That precise speed equates to roughly 30 kilometers per hour. Think about your stressful daily routine for a second. Navigating tight parking garages, sitting in endless stop-and-go city traffic, creeping slowly through the chaotic school drop-off line. In all of those deeply frustrating scenarios, the internal combustion engine stays completely asleep. You move forward in total, completely vibration-free silence. Genesis claims this drastically minimizes annoying cabin noise and actively utilizes the energy efficiency advantage of electric vehicles. It legitimately delivers a highly refined, linear acceleration that feels exactly like driving a pure, battery-powered EV. It is only when you push past that precise speed threshold or stomp aggressively on the throttle pedal that the turbocharged engine seamlessly wakes up and seamlessly takes over the heavy workload. But the heavy metal hardware is only half the story here. The sophisticated software brain running this entire hybrid system is genuinely frighteningly smart. It almost feels like artificial intelligence riding directly in the passenger seat. The GV80 actually predicts your precise route to intelligently prevent you from running out of battery juice at the worst possible time. It continuously analyzes the real-time navigation data and the upcoming road conditions all the way to your destination. If the computer sees a massive, miles-long hill coming up on your route, it will aggressively manage the battery reserves beforehand so you have maximum electric assist when you actually need it the most. And the intelligence absolutely does not stop there. The car actively and automatically adjusts the intensity of the regenerative braking based strictly on the physical distance to the vehicle right in front of you. If highway traffic suddenly and violently slows down, the GV80 instantaneously increases the regen drag to help slow your heavy SUV down smoothly while aggressively capturing free kinetic energy. It is quite literally like having an invisible, highly trained co-pilot constantly managing your daily efficiency. And speaking directly of that efficiency, internal testing from Hyundai is currently showing a massive 25% improvement in overall combined fuel economy over the standard gas-powered model. Industry insiders are currently expecting to see roughly 27 miles per gallon combined once the final government ratings officially drop. For a massive, heavy, beautifully crafted luxury SUV, a 25% sudden bump in fuel efficiency is a gigantic, undeniable leap forward. Plus, the obsessive engineering team made sure you can run all the heavy in-car convenience features, like the dual-zone air conditioning and the premium multimedia system, without ever having to start the gas engine while parked. Because this is Genesis we are thoroughly dissecting, they absolutely did not just swap the engine block, slap a cheap badge on the trunk, and lazily call it a day. They deeply wanted the HEV model to feel incredibly special and menacing from 50 feet away. So they meticulously updated the exterior styling. They integrated a brand new, highly aggressive crest grille design that looks incredibly commanding and wealthy in the rearview mirror. They also added specific, aerodynamically tuned new wheel designs exclusively crafted just for this specific hybrid model. When you open the heavy doors and finally step inside the cabin, things get even more opulent. They are rolling out 4 completely new, highly bespoke two-tone interior color combinations. You have stunning, dramatic options like obsidian black paired elegantly with taiga green, or the incredibly striking ultramarine blue matched perfectly with travertine beige. They threw in 2 brand new types of real, open-pore wood garnish and entirely new, incredibly complex quilting patterns for the supple leather seats. It is an absolute masterclass in high-end interior design, widening the range of choices for the elite buyer. This cabin easily rivals and arguably beats anything currently coming out of Germany or Japan right now. Let us take a step back and look at the brutal economic battlefield this vehicle is entering. The luxury hybrid SUV segment in the United States is an incredibly cutthroat space. The Lexus RX has completely dominated this exact demographic for what feels like an eternity. The BMW X5 plug-in hybrid is basically a required status symbol in wealthy suburbs across America. But Genesis is bringing a completely different, highly aggressive energy to the fight. By completely refusing to build a cumbersome plug-in hybrid, and instead opting for a non-plug-in hybrid system, they are ensuring the vehicle will likely be more competitively priced than the HEV offerings in its segment. They are directly targeting the American buyer, who wants absolute luxury with zero extra homework. Plug-in hybrids require you to hire an electrician and install a heavy-duty home charger. They require you to actually remember to plug the heavy cable in every single night in your garage. If you forget to plug it in, you are simply lugging around hundreds of pounds of dead, useless lithium-ion battery weight, which absolutely destroys your expensive fuel economy. Genesis looked directly at that deeply annoying user experience and smartly bypassed it entirely. They are offering the modern us consumer all the immediate torque, the silent, low-speed crawling through parking garages, and the massive fuel savings, with literally none of the plug-in compromises. You just put regular gasoline in it, drive it normally, and the advanced liquid-cooled system completely takes care of the complex thermodynamic math in the background. That level of effortless, invisible luxury is exactly what terrified executives at competing brands are currently staring at in their emergency boardroom meetings. The Genesis GV80 hybrid is absolutely not just a new trim level on a corporate spreadsheet. It is a massive, incredibly loud statement about the harsh reality of the current automotive industry. The pure, electric utopian dream is officially on pause. The highly refined hybrid era is officially back with a vengeance, and the underlying technology is better engineered than we ever thought possible. Genesis finally realized that true, uncompromising luxury is fundamentally about giving the modern customer exactly what they demand. They want absolutely zero range anxiety, incredible passing torque, and dead silent operation when it actually counts. I really want to hear from you down in the comments section right now. Does this deeply advanced new hybrid powertrain make you want to buy a GV80 over the established Lexus RX or the BMW X5? Let me know your exact, unfiltered thoughts below. And if you genuinely want to stay ahead of the curve on all things automotive and perfectly understand the business behind the sheet metal, hit that subscribe button right now. I constantly break down the real, hidden strategies behind the auto industry's biggest moves every single week. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you in the next one.